Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Matt here. Today I wanted to do a video going over a really neat parts kit for modifying the CZ457 triggers. This mod kit is from Guardian Gunsmoke, and here is the business card that was sent along with the parts. Darren is the gentleman I was talking with, so there's his contact information if you want to order one as well. And Guardian Gunsmoke is also on Facebook and Instagram. So I actually learned about this parts kit from a Facebook post. They had a picture of these parts in production and they said they were taking pre-orders. So I reached out and asked if I could be put on the pre-order list. And it turned out that Darren, I guess, knew who I was. So he asked if I would be willing to just take one for free to test and to make this video for. So that's exactly what I did. And again, I was really appreciative of that because I was willing to pay for it anyway, but I ended up getting it for free. I'm still going to give you my honest opinions about it as usual. So this mod kit comes with two things. The first part is the flat trigger blade. So it replaces this factory part here, which is curved from CZ. And the other part that this comes with is a Yodave trigger spring. And it's I guess a combined effort between Yodave and Guardian Gunsmoke to bring this parts package to market. They're both Canadian companies, which is awesome. So it looks like they sort of combined forces in order to make this happen. But the Yodave trigger spring upgrade for these 457 triggers has been around since the 457 itself. I mean, they used to make, or they still make parts for the 455 triggers and all that. So that is not new at all. In fact, I competed, as well as Dory, we both competed with just the Yodave upgrade in our 457 triggers for many, many matches, and we've always liked them quite a bit. This just allows you to also switch the trigger blade shape to be flat if that's your preference, which it is for me. Most of my competition rifles have flat trigger blades in them now, so it was kind of nice that this is another option to turn your factory trigger assembly into one that has a flat blade with a lighter trigger pull. So that's all it is. It's not magic. I'm not going to tell you that this thing makes the factory trigger feel like a custom high-end trigger, because it's not, but I think it's really fair in terms of the pricing and what you get. Right now, the pre-order anyway was about $100 Canadian, which I think is very fair, because for about less than a third of the price as something like the Timney, you're getting about a third of a trigger. So that's how I figure it's a fair price. And I was more than willing to pay $100 for the mod kit. And that's $100 Canadian, if I didn't mention that. So anyway, here it is beside a factory trigger. This one's an MTR trigger, and you can tell because of the chrome finish on it. But if I line it up with the action, you can just see there, again, the difference in a profile between the curved CZ trigger and the flat one here from Guardian Gunsmoke. I should mention this too, actually. The portion of the trigger that you replace with this flat part is actually very crucial, because the top surface here is actually part of the sear engagement in the trigger. So it was really important that Guardian Gunsmoke got all the dimensions right and used good material for this, which they definitely did, because I have not quite 500 rounds on this trigger now, and it's been absolutely 100%. I don't foresee any issues, but 500 rounds I think is enough to really get a feel for it, but it's not what I would consider like a long-term test. So if I need to update anything in the future, I will, but I really don't foresee any issues with this part replacement. Anyway, I wanted to show the rifle it's going to go on now, which is this one here. So this is sort of like a loaner rifle we have, and a spare CZ457. It has a factory MTR trigger in it right now, and I'm going to install the Guardian Gunsmoke mod into that, and then we'll take some measurements of trigger pull weight, how I have it set up right now. As I mentioned before, I have quite a few rounds in this already, because it was originally installed on my current custom CZ457, the one I dropped into the MPA Vanquish chassis. I did my initial ammo testing with this trigger, and I also shot 2 matches with it. But since then, I have acquired a Timney trigger, which is what I'm going to go forward and compete with when using that 457. Because again, this is a great option, and it feels as good as a factory trigger can feel with the Yodave trigger spring in there, but it's still not quite the level of a Timney or well, I was going to say a trigger tech, but trigger tech doesn't make a 457 trigger, but it doesn't feel quite as good, but it's no fault of Guardian Gunsmoke. You're just replacing parts in a factory trigger. So I think it would be unrealistic to expect this thing to feel like a Timney trigger after replacing just a few parts. But again, it's still a great option, and the factory trigger is no slouch. So if you're really happy with the factory trigger, but you want a flat trigger blade or a lighter trigger pull, this is a great option for you. So let me go ahead and throw it in this 457, and then we'll take a few quick measurements. All right, so the trigger is installed here, and I wanted to show you it from the back side because, as I mentioned before, this part that you replace, if you're looking at it like this top surface is part of the sear engagement. And on the main trigger body housing, there's a little circular window here that you can actually view. It's like a little viewport for the sear engagement itself. I actually find this window very helpful when tuning the trigger, the trigger adjustments. It is cocked right now. If I decock the rifle, you can see the cocking piece falls down, and when the bolt is cocked, the two surfaces are now engaged. But if I pull the trigger, you'll see the sear trip. I'm going to go ahead and throw it back in the chassis all assembled, and then I'll take some pull weight measurements for you as it's set up right now. It's not the lightest it can go. I believe it's around 12 ounces right now, but we'll put it on the pull weight scale, and you can see the screw, the adjustment screw for the pull weight isn't backed out all the way, so it can go lower. All right, here it is installed in the chassis, ready to go. It looks good. It's a good feeling trigger. I mean, not much else to say besides the fact that if you like the factory trigger but you just want it flat, this is a really good option. So we'll go ahead here and take some measurements with the pull weight scale. I just have a cheap one here. It's not a digital one or anything, but I actually find it quite accurate and repeatable. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to favor the lower portion of the trigger, which is generally where I pull it from for the measurement here. Maybe about 1/4 inch from the bottom, and I'll try and go as straight back as possible. So there it broke, yeah, right around 10 ounces. I'll measure it again a few times here, right about 10 ounces. So I'll go ahead and measure that. We'll do it 2 more times to get an average of 3. Again, I'm measuring it from about 1/4 inch from the bottom, which is where I generally pull the trigger from. It's very consistent, as you can see that. So I mean, again, as I mentioned before, these factory triggers are really no slouch, and I've been very happy with them in the past. They can be improved upon, but they're not going to hold you back. Yeah, look at this. Perfect. Another 10-ounce trigger pull. So very consistent. We just did 3 trigger pulls, all the same measurement, and 10 to 12 ounces is what I run all my competition rifles on, regardless of what type of trigger it is. Well, I mean, for my bolt guns. And this is perfectly doable. It can go even lower if you want, but I was very happy with this when I was testing it. And again, I did shoot 2 matches with it. So as I mentioned before, I think this is a great option for those of you who just want a flat blade on the factory trigger. So check it out. Thanks for watching, guys. I do want to mention, for those of you who are subscribed to me, I do plan to do some stage debriefs very soon. I've just been getting a little bit more time for editing. So hopefully we'll get some of those videos out shortly. Thanks for watching. See ya.